The holographic display above Dr. Anya Sharma's workstation shimmered, a complex, layered projection mapping intricate atmospheric currents across a third of the northern hemisphere. Region Beta 7 glowed faintly green at its heart, a vital pulse of productivity on the global map. But it was the overlay data, the subtle, insidious trend anomaly painting thin lines of stark amber across the green, that drew Anya's focus, pulling her gaze away from the comforting, contained reality of the georesilience dome. The air in her office, like everywhere within the vast, environmentally regulated shell of the Global Climate Adaptation Agency (GCAA) complex, was meticulously filtered, crisp, and carried the subtle, clean scent of the deep geothermal energy that powered their sanctuary. Beneath that, a faint, almost imperceptible hint of ozone from the air purification systems mingled with the fresher, earthy notes piped in from the agricultural biospheres. It was a constant reminder of the world they had built, a testament to sheer, unyielding human ingenuity and perseverance against a planet fundamentally reshaped millennia ago. Outside the transparent composite walls, engineered to withstand hurricane-force winds and the grinding cold of permafrost, the landscape stretched, vast and undeniably stark, a terrain sculpted by biting winds and persistent cold, where natural ecosystems clung to existence, grimly adapted to a global climate dramatically cooler and, in many regions, relentlessly drier than in a history that never knew the long winter. The sky itself often held a muted, almost bruised quality, a perpetual haze, a subtle echo of the ancient ash veil that had lingered for centuries. April 2025. A familiar point in the solar cycle, yes, but for humanity, it marked another cycle navigating a world whose very sky had been permanently altered, whose history, civilizations, and technologies were defined by the enduring, indelible consequence of that ancient cataclysm. The pivotal divergence had occurred approximately 12,000 years ago, deep in prehistory, a supervolcanic eruption, or perhaps a geologically synchronized series of them, of unprecedented magnitude. This wasn't a regional crisis, this was an event that had injected an unimaginable volume of ash, sulfates, and aerosols into the stratosphere, triggering a cascading climate collapse, a volcanic winter that gripped the planet for centuries. It hadn't just cooled the world, it had fractured established patterns, plunging global temperatures, crushing monsoon systems, and brutally redrawing the lines of habitable zones. While the most acute cooling eventually subsided, the global climate settled into a new, persistent state, a lower overall average temperature, but more significantly, profoundly altered ocean currents shifted regional weather systems, turning historical breadbaskets into arid lands and transforming other regions in unexpected ways. Variability increased, extreme weather events becoming both more frequent and less predictable. The very conditions for the emergence and spread of human civilization were irrevocably reshaped, forcing early populations into different migration paths, dictating where agriculture could take root and what forms it must take. Over millennia, human history unfolded under this different sky, always cognizant of the environment's immense power, prioritizing resilience, careful resource management, and adaptation. Cultural memory held echoes of the long winter, perhaps in cautionary tales, symbols of hardiness, or rituals marking the precious, fleeting warmth of the limited summer months. Anya ran diagnostics, her fingers, calloused lightly from years of interacting with data interfaces, dancing across the control panel. The model, Deepcast version 9.3, hummed with quiet power, the dome's heartbeat. Trained on millennia of compiled climate data, from ice cores, geological strata, early human records, to current sensors, it was the most sophisticated prediction engine. It had successfully predicted major events, but this felt different. More subtle, more catastrophic. Beta 7. The name resonated within the GCAA. It represented success, adaptation on a grand scale. In the long centuries after the volcanic winter, as the climate recalibrated, Beta 7 emerged as one of the largest contiguous regions for large-scale agriculture without full containment. Located in a zone that might have been marginal otherwise, it received just enough moisture from a redirected atmospheric river. It was a triumph of post-winter adaptation, settled by populations who developed unique techniques, intricate water recycling, irrigation minimizing evaporation, bioengineered crops like sun-stubborn sorghum, almost iconic on food maps. Millions relied on Beta 7. The anomaly flagged by Deepcast version 9.3 wasn't a sudden drought. It was a trend, a slow, almost imperceptible tightening of that atmospheric river, predicted to result in a significant, sustained reduction of rainfall over Beta 7, perhaps 40 to 50% over the next 30 to 50 years. Not a temporary hardship, but a fundamental shift rendering current practices unsustainable. Validate predictive confidence for region beta 7 trend anomaly, hydroshift index 4.1, Anya instructed, voice low, tension beneath calm. Her AI assistant, 01, responded instantly. Processing. Cross-referencing against geological records, historical human settlement data, and correlating with millennial atmospheric oscillation patterns. Complex calculations flashed. Validation complete. Confidence level 0.987. Correlation with historical pattern event echo delta identified in Epoch 7 sublayer data. 0.987. In climate modeling, that was near certainty. Event echo delta, a period 4,000 years ago when a similar, less severe, alignment briefly shifted moisture patterns. It hadn't persisted then. This time, the model predicted it would. Anya leaned back, rubbing her temples. The clinical data confirmation amplified the dread. This wasn't abstract, this was a ticking clock for millions, for continental stability. Her comm unit pinged. Sector head Thorn. His curt text, Beta 7 preliminary assessment received, Sharma. Elevated anomaly flag, level 3, seems excessive. Review and downgrade to informational, level 1. Resources are tight. Alpha strip flood migrations need focus. Anya stared, hot frustration tightening her shoulders. Excessive. Thorn. Focused on immediate crises, believing long-term predictions a distraction from present emergencies like the Alpha strip superstorms. His perspective, while limited, stemmed from managing constant acute events in a resource-scarce world. But it was blind to slow-motion catastrophes. No. Sharp, immediate. She couldn't downgrade it. Not this. Her fingers hovered over controls. Her gaze drifted to a photo on her desk, her Auntie Lara and Uncle Elias, farming on the edge of Beta 7, a marginal zone first to feel the pinch. She could almost smell dust after rain, feel stiff sorghum stalks from a childhood visit. They survived hail, cold snaps, water rationing. But a fundamental shift? They wouldn't stand a chance. The thought brought a physical tightness to her chest, fear for them layered onto abstract dread for millions. She remembered documentaries of the Great Dust Sinks of '88, land turned waste, displacing thousands, including family. That event, minor here, defined her generation's vulnerability. It drove her into this field, a fierce resolve history wouldn't repeat if she could help it. 01, she murmured, voice firm now. Initiate Level 1 Global Climate Instability Alert for Region Beta 7 Hydroshift Index 4.1. Categorization, catastrophic potential, long-term. Bypass sector authority. Highest initial alert, bypassing lower checks, pushing to directorate and international bodies. Calculated insubordination. She paused, adding a critical layer. Cross-reference Level 1 alert initiation timestamp against all publicly available and secure channel reports regarding land acquisition or major infrastructure investment within Region Beta 7 and adjacent marginal zones over the last 6 months. Specifically flag activity by known private or state-linked entities exceeding standard agricultural expansion averages by more than 300%. She knew what she looked for. Thorn's inertia was one obstacle. But timing felt too convenient. Powerful global entities like Aegis Agricorp had sophisticated data analysis. Had they seen similar trends? Were they positioning to profit, buying land cheap, planning contained domes or water monopolies? Cynical, but common here. Resource fight wasn't just nations, sometimes corporations versus inhabitants. Anya watched data streams flow, confirmation protocols initiate. Die cast. Alert elevated, superior bypassed, system pointed towards corporate opportunism. A lot for one night. But amber lines on Beta 7 were stark, unforgiving. Legacy of ancient ash wasn't just history, living, shifting force, demanding vigilance, willingness to make hard choices, challenge the system. Silence in Anya's office after the alert was heavy, punctuated only by deep-cast hum and distant geothermal thrum. She stood, looking out at the dome's microclimate, towering trees, walkways, vibrant flora. Perfect, artificial world, painstakingly maintained. Stark contrast to the potentially dying one flagged. Her action unprecedented. Calculated risk. If prediction flawed, career damaged, GCAA credibility hit. But data screamed. Secondary screen flickered, automated response from Director Jin's office, Level 1 global alert received. Source, Sharma, at classification, priority gamma. Acknowledged. Stand by for secure channel communication. Director Jin. Not a bureaucrat. Scientist, veteran of geoengineering debates. Understood models, stakes, brutal indifference of post-long winter climate. If anyone, Jian would take it seriously. But he operated within complex global politics, resource allocation. Anya knew he faced pressure, balancing science with reality. Perhaps carried weight of past failures, warnings unheeded. Minutes crawled. Anya paced, hands through short hair, mind racing. Beta 7 wasn't just agriculture, cultural heartland, unique traditions, deep land connections. Relocating millions, societal upheaval not seen since post-long winter migration. Building containment domes, staggering engineering challenge, straining global resources, materials. Unique flora, relocating them, adapting to contained environments, preserving diversity, monumental task. Water management in Beta 7, while advanced, relied on precipitation, meltwater. Baseline drop meant no amount of recycling saved crops. Radical geoengineering? Blocking atmospheric rivers? Fiercely debated, unpredictable, fraught with consequences. Legacy of ash instilled caution against large interventions, even needing adaptation. Notification blinked, cross-reference results with corporate activity. Aegis AgriCorp. Not proof of malice, but deeply unsettling. Spike in land/infrastructure bids, concentrated in /bordering desiccation zones. Acquiring land, bidding for control of key water infrastructure, pumping stations, treatment plants, aqueduct control points. Consistent with positioning to capitalize on scarcity, control access as resource became scarce. Smelled like calculated crisis profiteering. Added dangerous layer. Not just inertia, fighting powerful corporate interests potentially benefiting from disaster, perhaps lobbying to suppress data, delay alerts to secure advantage. Faint notification light blinked. Secure message, not GCAA. From her aunt, Ilara, in Beta 7. Anya hesitated, opened it. Short, overlaid on pixelated dust devil photo near farm. Storms strange, Anya. Winds haven't seen since 70s. Dust bad. Elias worries spring melt weaker. Pumps working overtime. Any news from your towers? Anya's heart ached, sharp physical pain. Your towers, aunt's name for GCA, distant, watching. Elias, rooted to land, feeling shifts through soil, dust taste, pump strain. Living first, barely perceptible edge of trend. Abstract data gained sharp, bitter reality. Dust devil, commonplace to them, screaming siren to Anya, validation of chilling prediction manifesting. Couldn't tell Ilara everything. Not yet. Not until Directorate acted. Composed careful reply, received message, Aunt Ilara. Monitoring conditions closely. Data indicates unusual patterns developing globally, including near Beta 7. Escalated analysis today. Will update as confirmed info shareable. Keep filters clean, reservoirs topped as much. Sending love to you and Uncle Elias. Coded language. Unusual patterns, escalated analysis, GCAA for something wrong, alarm raised. Filters clean, dust advice. Reservoirs topped, emphasize conservation, hint scarcity without panic. Sending felt like drawing line, personal commitment atop professional duty. Not just map region. Ilara's hands, Elias's worry, Beta 7 dust taste, sensory details making data real. Chime of another message. Internal, GCAA secure. Sector head Thorn. Follow-up to formal message. Sharma. Formal response received. Reclassification Beta 7 Anomaly Level 1 Global Outside Standard Protocol without superior approval/directorate mandate. Will require formal review. Associating corporate activity with climate data highly irregular, ventures non-GCAA jurisdiction. Be prepared explain procedural deviations directorate. Thorn. Dripped with bureaucratic disapproval, veil threat. Procedural deviations. Didn't challenge data, just her handling. Positioning himself, if this went wrong, he insulated, she bore full procedural failure weight. Emphasis on non-GCAA jurisdiction, warning shot against delving into political/economic underbelly. Thorn cared about GCAA as scientific body, separate from power/money. Admirable, but naive where climate was power/money, control over zone/water leverage beyond military. As if summoned, comm unit activated. Secure video call request from Director Jian. Anya straightened tunic, took deep breath, suppressed hand tremor, accepted call. Director Jian's face appeared, etched with grappling with planet's caprice. Spartan office, controlled bioluminescent algae farms view, ethereal green glow. Sharma, voice calm but urgent. Your alert. Beta 7. Hydroshift 4.1. Confidence 0.987. Didn't question flag/bypass. Straight to science. Echo delta correlation confirmed. Deeper analysis underway. Anya felt relief, quickly renewed tension. Director. Prediction window short. Decades, not centuries. Scale of adaptation, unprecedented post-winter era. Understand implications, Dr. Jian steady. Magnitude shift in that productivity. Threatens 3 continents stability. Fielding preliminary queries Beta 7 Regional Council, reporting erratic microclimates, dust devils areas haven't seen generations. Feeling early edge, Anya confirmed, chill spine. Model not far off, tendrils reaching out. Director, cross-reference flagged unusual corporate activity. Aegis AgriCorp. Significant land/water infrastructure bids aligning desiccation zones. Jian's expression hardened. Yes. Saw correlation. Adds complexity. Aegis significant political capital. Pushing back increased water rationing alpha strip, citing economic impact. Pause, flicker of weariness/frustration. Managing them, challenging. Influence extends every resource debate level. Hint of his burden, political pressure. Stand to make immense profit if control water, transition to contained agriculture, Anya stated plainly, pulling map showing Aegis acquisitions. Indeed. Makes international cooperation, public-funded adaptation efforts significantly more challenging. Convening emergency directorate meeting 0400 hours. You brief us. Present data, correlation, timeline, corporate activity implications. Refine timeline projection? Pinpoint point no return more precisely? Anya nodded, mind spinning parameters. Can requires integrating high-resolution data from Beta 7 last 5 years. Estimate narrow critical window 5-year span within 30 to 40 years. Precise trigger points based cumulative precipitation deficit. Good, Jian said. Full access necessary resources. Thorn, require managing. Indicated alert significant scientific merit. Focus on data, Sharma. Politics my concern, but science unassailable. Legacy of Ash constant reminder nature's power, also our responsibility anticipate movements. Call ended, screen dark. Anya stood quiet office, crisis weight settling, heavy, cold despite regulated temp. Hadn't just sent message, thrown stone into science/politics/corporate ecosystem. Fight Beta 7 against creeping long winter shadow, just begun. Unexpectedly forefront. Began pulling supplemental data, preparing visuals for directorate briefing. Holographic projections, graphs, simulations. Anticipate every angle, every skeptical question. Ran mental arguments, practiced phrasing, internal monologue low, urgent murmur. Focused timeline refinement. Point no return calculation layering granular data, GCAA sensor hydrology, soil moisture, atmospheric readings. Abstract numbers mapped onto land reality. 25% cumulative deficit 5 years impacting reservoirs. 40% over 10 stressing sorghum. 50% over 30 collapsing open field. Pinpointing window adaptation couldn't scale fast enough, critical number undeniable. Processors hummed louder, diverting power. Dome temp dropped fraction. Every system bent task. Reviewed Aegis data. Spike land/water bids desiccation zones. Not just opportunism, strategic positioning. Aegis, hyper-efficient, regulated farms dependent on energy/water, gained immensely controlling scarce resources crisis unfolded. Lobbying elsewhere solidified pattern, prioritize own needs/profitability, at expense public adaptation/humanitarian. Apex predators resource scarce world. Beta 7 next hunting ground. Directorate briefing room austere, circular table, projectors, screens. No windows, only data/deliberation. Where data translated policy, terrifying planet state confronted human needs/limitations. Anya stood podium, hum low thrum intense silence. Exhaustion tugged, eyes gritty, physical stress manifestation. Around table directorate, Jen grave, nod of encouragement. Petrova stern, sharp gaze. Rostova impassive, political calculations hidden. Carter, mentor, tired eyes met hers, shared understanding. Tanaka, logistics chief, pragmatic readiness. Thorne, arms crossed, disapproving, attention on datapad until turn. Directorate, Jin began, voice cutting hum. Convened emergency session level 1 Global Alert 7 Alpha, initiated Dr. Anya Sharma, concerning predicted long-term hydroshift region Beta 7. Dr. Sharma present findings. Proceed, Dr. Anya nodded, podium. Activated presentation. Wall display Beta 7 topo map, overlaid geological data. Thank you, Director. Members Directorate. Deep breath, found professional composure, pushed aside weariness, fear. 6 hours ago, Deepcast version 9.3 flagged high confidence anomaly long-term precipitation patterns over region Beta 7. Not cyclical drought, but predicted fundamental shift atmospheric river system providing vital moisture. Advanced slide. Topo map faded, replaced complex, dynamic atmospheric current visualization, pulsing color, illustrating vast engine shaping world. Current flow Beta 7 lifeline. Transitioned, compressing decades. Flow subtly, imperceptibly, constricted over Beta 7, diverting moisture, leaving region deprived. Models predict sustained precipitation reduction 40 to 50% next 30 to 50 years. Correlation historical echo-delta pattern, epoch 7 paleoclimate, validates potential this atmospheric config persistent under current global climate state. Brought validation graphs, tight clusters, high scores, undeniable proof model accuracy. Validation confidence 0.987, cross-referenced millennia unique post-long winter climate data. Silence, heavy with implications. Petrova, voice sharp, concerned. 40 to 50%? Beta 7? Sharma, point no return current practices? Even sophisticated water management? Anya advanced. Graphs projected soil moisture, sorghum yield versus precipitation decline, clinical data representing potential starvation. Based Beta 7 water infrastructure, crop resilience limits, point no return, threshold scaling adaptation insufficient maintain productivity/population, projected within 35 to 45 years, centered 2065. Seeing potential leading indicators, increased dust devils, reduced spring meltwater reports, localized erraticism. Murmur around table. Decades long, but for this scale, relocating millions, rebuilding food system, terrifyingly short. Thorne cleared throat, drew attention, voice stiff, controlled disapproval. Dr. Sharma. Data noted, chose words tactically, must reiterate concern procedural deviations. Level 1 global alert requires validation/consensus before initiation. Furthermore, included unsubstantiated data private sector activity in alert. GCAA mandate climate science, not corporate espionage/political speculation. Diverting resources now, from active crises like Alpha Strip, questionable. Gaze fixed Anya, challenging not just science, but judgment, authority. Anya met Gaze directly, voice steady despite hidden hand tremor. Sector head Thorn, data was validated high confidence before alert. Timeline/scale warranted immediate elevation. Waiting slower review cost precious months, years, critical early warning. Corporate data, Director Jian explicitly requested. Not climate science isolation, speaks directly socioeconomic/political feasibility adaptation efforts, external actors impede/exploit crisis response, falls squarely GCAA strategic assessment mandate when dealing level 1 global threats. Deflected procedural attack, subtly invoked Jian's authority, broadened GCAA role. Jian intervened smoothly, voice firm, backing Anya. Inclusion Aegis AgriCorp data my direction, Thorn. Cannot assess feasibility regional transition scale without understanding non-climate factors, including resource control/market manipulation. Turned Anya, expression serious. Sharma, elaborate corporate activity. What correlation suggests likely intentions? Anya brought final slide, Beta 7 map overlaid Aegis acquisitions/bids, concentrated desiccation zones. Markers pulsed red. Cross-reference indicates statistically significant surge Aegis activity last 6 months. Acquiring land, marginal zones particularly. Critically, bidding control key water infrastructure within Beta 7 pumps, treatment, aqueduct control points. Consistent positioning capitalize resource scarcity, control access during forced transition to contained, water-efficient agriculture. Existing infrastructure/crops make them uniquely positioned to operate drying Beta 7 where traditional farming fails. Admiral Tanaka, grim, low, practical voice. Crisis profiteering. Scale. Could severely hamper coordinated relief/adaptation. Control water/contained farming, control response, dictate who gets food/cost. Logistically, dangerous bottleneck. Ambassador Rostova leaned forward, political acumen sharp. Dr. Sharma, hard evidence this intentional exploitation, not merely opportunistic expansion responding minor fluctuations? Hard evidence intent outside GCAA purview, Ambassador, Anya careful. Falls investigative bodies. However, statistical correlation between targeted investments, predicted desiccation zones undeniable. Coupled Aegis lobbying against water rationing other crises, prioritizing own contained farms over locals during Alpha Strip, suggests pattern prioritize own needs/profitability, even emergencies. Built controlled environments, secured input, uniquely positioned thrive drying Beta 7 supporting millions collapses. Tense debate erupted, faster, voices overlapping, GCAA mandate, confronting Aegis, Beta 7 crisis overshadowing Alpha Strip, geoengineering ethics, relocation versus containment logistics. Thorn pushed procedure, subtly questioning Anya's judgment, prediction, non-climate data validity. Carter offered quiet, data-backed support atmospheric analysis, weary-eyes solidarity. Petrova highlighted grim water scarcity reality. Tanaka spoke necessary tonnage, transit times, impossibility rapid movement without coordination. Through it all, Anya stood firm, responding calmly, data-backed, voice clear despite fatigue. Redirected conversation unassailable science, unavoidable timeline. No longer just scientist, advocate millions lives at stake, fighting inertia, skepticism, corporate greed shadow. Finally, Director Jian brought room order, voice firm, cutting debate. Data alarming, compelling. Sharma's validation robust, correlation historical patterns sound. Thorn raises valid procedural points, but potential scale crisis outweighs procedural comfort. Must act. Now. Outlined initial plan, hand hovering Beta 7 map. Level 1 global alert stands. Authorize immediate high-resolution monitoring surge Beta 7. Dr. Sharma, lead task force refine timeline, identify most vulnerable regions/populations, assess specific local adaptation challenges, including unique flora. Admiral Tanaka, begin preliminary logistical assessments. Large-scale resource movement/infrastructure scenarios contained agriculture feasibility, water importation, relocation vectors. Ambassador Rostova, initiate confidential consultations. Beta 7 Regional Council/Continental Alliances, emphasizing urgency, need cooperation. Corporate activity noted, engage non-GCAA entities. Investigate potential resource manipulation. Primary focus climate adaptation planning. Looked Anya, profound gravity expression. GCAA's most significant challenge generations, Dr. Sharma. Legacy long winter demands foresight, resilience, courage face immense pressure. Shown both. Fate Beta 7, perhaps more, rests ability navigate coming decades. Meeting concluded. Directorate filed out, discussion deep, others shaken by scale, sterile room unable contain human implications. Thorne gave Anya curt nod, no warmth, expression disapproval, departed swiftly. Carter paused, offered small, weary smile solidarity. Anya remained by podium moment, Beta 7 map glowing, amber line stark, accusing presence. Exhaustion washed over, physical slump couldn't fight, shoulders slumping, rubbed tired eyes. Done it. Pushed alert through, forced directorate confront looming reality. Beta 7 top world crisis list. Fight far over. Beginning. Data clear, path murky, political obstacles, logistical nightmares, potential social unrest, looming corporate interests, profit scarcity. Community chimed, secure GCAA notification, access granted high-resolution ground hydrology feeds, Beta 7 sector. First tangible task force step. Simultaneously, different, unregistered signal attempted ping secure line, blocked by firewalls, leaving ghost trace. External contact attempt. Aegis wouldn't wait long. Sense renewed urgency, sharp, immediate, cut through exhaustion. Not decades away, already doorstep, Dust Devil's family felt, data patterns, hostile superior silence, now electronic reach those gained. Walked office, dome hum constant, ironic, reminder world sought preserve. Outside, wind howled softly against composite walls, sound shaped world as much as ash. Long winter passed, shadow remained, long, deep, Beta 7 about walk deeper. Anya Sharma, climatologist saw future data, new work only just begun. Sat down, pulled new hydrology feeds, first tangible link drying earth below, fight Beta 7 irrevocably entwined determination, weight personal stakes.